It's like we're on Hollywood. Yay! Marnie's here. Yay! Welcome to the pod.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Jade.
So excited to have you, Marnie. I have my story of how we met, but do you remember? Because you were in like a leadership situation when we met.
Pretty sure that I met you because I was leading the Fundamentals of Transaction program and you were going to be in that program. I had heard about you ahead of time. I had
Say
definitely
more.
heard about you.
What?
Well, I kind of heard that these folks from Colorado that are going to be on the course, they're pretty influential. They're kind of, highly effective, which immediately has me go, shit. And then it's like, okay, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But it's sort of like I have to readjust sometimes when I hear of these really. And then, all of y'all were just down to earth, just fun to be with. I mean, I kind of fell in love with you and Jerry right away. I mean,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
away.
yes. And I will say, from my perspective of meeting you, I have been through and put myself in so many courses. I'm kind of addicted to development and new styles and methodologies. Like, I just love it. I think it's really fun. And I remember the very first FOT that we got in with you and how I was immediately like, oh, she gets shit done. You just have this like way about you and way with people that's really unique in
Hmm.
my experience. Like, you can bring someone right down to the like what really needs to be dealt with. That's maybe not pretty, but you do it with so much love and
Hmm.
effectiveness that people can hear it. Like, it's a really good, that's a cool skill.
The way that I was described to me once is I'm a velvet 2x4. Like you get hit across the head, but you don't even really know. And you're sort of left like, I think that should have hurt, but it didn't. That's how I've
Yeah,
been
that
described
totally,
multiple
that
times.
tracks. That tracks. I support that one liner. That should be on a sticker with your face.
There you go.
So good. Okay, before we jump right in, I want the listeners to just get a sense of who is Marnie. Tell us a little bit about your background, maybe sprinkle in a few things that you wouldn't normally share in your intro, just so we can kind of get to know you.
Well, background, I'm Marnie. I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and went to college in Minnesota. So I'm kind of a Minnesotan by heart. Um, I've been in the training and development field. Really, actually, this nobody knows about this. My bachelor's degree, Jade, is in women-centered chemical dependency counseling. I designed my own major. That's what my major is. Now, I did that for a little while. I was mental health, did that for a while, and just totally burnt out. Done with that. So I started to look at other opportunities and went into training and development. So I've been in that for forever. Um, there's things that people just don't know about me. So I have a life I love, which people probably know that. But one of the things that I love about my life is I am addicted to Legos. I build Lego sets. Jade, I have built well over 200 Lego sets. It's insane. It's insane. But I have a wife who supports my habit, and she takes all of them to her office and spreads them out through her office. So people come up to her office and are like, I hear there's a bunch of Legos here. And they go through these little, she curates them. It's just wild. So that's one of the things that I really love about my life. But really, my background is training and development. I have my own company. It's called MPower, after Marne Power, MPower Consulting. And ideally, it was designed to work with academic physicians, so doctors who are in academia, and I do productivity consulting. Now, it's branched in different ways because I am also a coach, and what ends up happening is they hire me to do productivity, and then they keep working with me for coaching. So that's kind of my background.
Yes, amazing. And I heard through the grapevine that you were a semi-professional softball player.
I
Is this true?
was, I was. So I was a great softball player. I played catcher, of course. Why wouldn't
Me
you? It's the
too.
best position, isn't it? Because you
Yes.
control everything.
Hmm.
And I got a scholarship to play in college, and I was really considering it, but I took a year off in between the two, and so I played semi-professional. I was on the minor league of the Milwaukee Banks, I think they were called Bank Cats, Milwaukee Bank Cats. So I did that for a while. That was fantastic. And then I didn't play in college because my mother started the dying process, and I did not want to be playing softball while she was, you know, said poorly dying. So,
Mm, fair,
yeah,
fair. That tracks.
but it
But
was
at
awesome.
some point in your life, you did the gayest thing
I
that a
did.
gay could
Okay.
possibly do, which is to
But I
play.
was straight at the time. That's the funny part of it. Is I really did think I was straight. Okay, can I tell you a just goofy story? This is something nobody
Please,
knows about me.
please.
So, I met this woman. Now, I grew up Catholic, very Catholic, and I met
Mhm.
this woman, and I thought she was a man. Her name was Angela, and somebody was telling me about all of the people. I'm like, well, I haven't met Angela yet. They're like, well, no, she's down there. I thought it was Angelo. So I met her and we became friends, right? So we hung out all the time together. And she told me she was a lesbian. And I'm like, what's that? I mean, this is how naive I was, having grown up Catholic education, 12 years. So she tells me, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then time moves on, and we're sitting at the bar that sponsors the softball team. And she looks at me and she says, Marnie, I've fallen in love. I'm like, oh my God, that's great. Do I know her? And she's like, I'm looking at her. And Jade, this is what I did. Really? Where is she? That is how naive I was. Then she took me to a gay bar. As we were walking in, half my softball team was walking out, and I took off the other direction because I was so freaked out. I had no clue. I mean, gayest thing around, and I thought I was straight doing the gayest thing around.
You just didn't know what you didn't
I
know.
didn't know. I didn't know, and then I fell in love, and that's history. Been
That
out for
is
what, 40 years
the
now.
cutest entry point story. Is that how you realize? Was that like the, oh, maybe, like,
Yeah,
was that the door that opened?
it was the door that opened. Now, I can look back and tell you I was madly in love with the lifeguard at the pool, Patty Kelble, and I have all these pictures of Debbie Holdman from being in or high school, but I didn't know it was.
So there were clues.
There were clues that
You didn't know what game you were playing.
no clue. I mean, come on! I thought I was going to marry, have 10 kids. I mean, really. So
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
so
What a
different
great
life.
example of like how belief systems can create identities. And
Oh,
it's
so
real.
quickly,
It's real.
so quickly. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. This feels like a fantastic segue into one of my favorites,
Okay.
just to like warm us up before we get into the real conversation. I want to know what's something that everyone believes. So most people are like, yep, we totally believe this. But you, Marnie, think it is completely wrong.
Oh. All right. Two of them come to mind. First one that comes to mind is that we don't need help. I grew up highly independent. My mother basically, this should have been another clue. Marnie, you need to do everything yourself. You don't need to have a man in your life. I know, mom prepping before, who knew? But I think we grow up really thinking that we should be able to do it ourselves. We should know how to do things. We should, we go into a job and we really should have to figure it out ourselves and not know how to do it. I mean, I'm working with a couple of clients right now. One of my clients is new and she won't ask for help from her supervisor. So all I'm working with her is just to ask for help. She's like, no, I need to be able to do it myself. So I think most people think that we shouldn't need help. And I am the opposite. We need a ton of help, a lot of help to be successful.
Mm. What was the second one? I love that
Um,
one.
the second one is I think people have limiting beliefs about other people and they believe them that they're true. So there's this I think I don't know how to articulate it, but I think a lot of people believe that when they make up something about somebody, it's the truth. And they hold them to those limiting beliefs. And then they cannot, in any way, shape, or form, thrive beyond those beliefs. So I think those limiting, everyone knows we have our own personal limiting beliefs about ourselves, right? So anything is possible, all that. But I think that mostly people aren't even aware of that we have limiting beliefs about others that keep us stuck.
So good. That we were talking before we started recording about the book Identity by Robert Fritz, and he goes in depth on that topic. And one of the things that has always, I think, like intuitively, maybe we know this as humans, but we don't practice it very often. It's like if there's someone entering a group and you have an opinion about that person, but no one else knows them, if you state your opinion to the group, that person is they're anchored.
Heavy.
They come in holding that,
Yep.
whatever it
Heavy.
is, that's your insert opinion, belief, limiting belief, or like maybe you were having a bad day when you met them, and then that's their identity in the group. So I've made a practice in my adult life of not, especially when someone's entering a group that I know, of like, I have no, I'm Switzerland on purpose because I know if I say something that the group is likely to follow because we're tribal
We
creatures.
are tribal.
We have this, yeah, we have this desire to be liked and be seen and be heard. And sometimes that can backfire.
Oh. And I think a lot of times, Jade, people don't believe that their beliefs, like when they say, if I said to you, oh, so and so is X, I'm not saying it because I want to be malicious. I'm saying because, first off, I think that's true. And second off, I have this background thought like you'll form your own opinion. But that's insane. You will, however, you heard mine, and that will inform the opinion you. And so people are just, we're wacko. I love us, but we're wacko.
Yeah. What do you think that's about? Like, what do you think the desire to, like, that automatic, I need to give my opinion about that person, or it's just so embedded in our cultural, like, norms? What do you think
I
it's
think
about?
it's embedded, and I think we want to feel included. So in certain situations, there's kind of, I want to be included in this conversation. Others, it's, I want to look better because I know something. So it comes from, I think, just for the moment thinking, coming from looking good and wanting to be included, feel like we have a place in the group.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's a safety mechanism. There's some ego involved, but there's also some like, I'm just trying to protect myself,
Yes,
keep myself safe, which sometimes means throwing someone else under the bus,
it does.
right? Like the whole
Yeah.
othering. I mean, religions are great, if we go back to your intro, a great example of we're one way and then everyone else is different. And this one way is better, elite, going to get us somewhere special. Like there's that, it's a strong narrative. And if you really believe that, if you're born into that narrative, and suddenly you start to come upon evidence that perhaps that narrative is not the only narrative, whether it's true or not, who knows, but it's not the only narrative. Like, what
It's
a,
just mind blowing. And you're either going to go, whoa, I should stop and consider this, or you're going to go, even that's wrong, even harder than you were before.
mm,
It's going to go one of two ways, growth
people
mindset
are
or fixed.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Growth mindset or fixed mindset. So true. What do you think gets people into a growth mindset? If they're used to a fixed, like what
Hmm.
do you think that
That's
between,
a
how do
really good
they,
question.
yeah.
That's a really good question. I would think in some situations, it gets slapped in their face, something that was so, I mean, we've been talking about being gay and all that. I think my brother. So I don't think he really has a fixed mindset, but he's got a bit of a fixed mindset. And when I finally came out to him, his response was, I just don't think that's right. If that were right, then it would have been Adam and Andrew and Ellen and Eve. And I was like, excuse me? What? But that, and then my niece sort of kept saying, Dad, whenever he would talk about me being gay, really had him start to reconsider. And he has. I mean, he was the promise holder at my wedding. So he's holding my marriage vows. If Cindy and I ever decide we're going to divorce, I have to go to him first to release me from my marriage vows. And he is willing to hold him in that regard. So
That's a big change
huge change.
from
Huge.
Eve and Ellen. Hmm.
Yep. So I think
Yeah.
it's being pushed up against something so strongly from somebody you care about. I think. And then there's people, they get pushed against it and they're going to push right back. I don't know. That's my thinking. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been testing this theory for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Um, I I don't know scientifically. but my intuition and my experience and my lived life have shown me that the more that I can connect with someone on like a human to human or soul to soul level, the more likely they are to open up that fixed mindset.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I experience the same thing for myself. So it to me there feels like there's some human connection that has it's not intellectual. It
No.
is not a heady thing. It's a maybe we're sharing about a tragedy or trauma that we experienced or something that is just like so human that it can't get put on a side or with
Yeah.
a religion or like
Yeah.
and that for me has been the noticeable practical way to both open myself up if I'm in a fixed mindset and if I'm with someone else and I think there might be some value for them to loosen up their mindset.
Yep.
If I'm feeling empowered and comfortable, and that's usually the some prerequisites.
Mhm. Yes.
That's where I'll go, and I
Yeah.
think that's really now at this stage in my life, and the podcast and even these conversations, I'm really challenging myself to do that all the time,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
to use that power that I have felt in myself all over the place instead of in these very like I have to know that
Ex
you won't
Yes.
yeah I have to know that you won't hate me, I have to know that you won't hurt me, I have to know that like
Well,
I don't need to know any of that anymore,
no. No.
which feels really cool for me.
That is really cool. I like that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
thanks.
think
And who knows, I don't know, that could just be unique to Jade for all I know.
probably not totally unique to you, but you do have there's a way that you are that is unique in how you express those things. So
Yeah, we're all beautiful snowflakes, aren't we,
we
Marnie?
are. We are. Till we get pushed in the mud.
uh and then we get back up. We're
Exactly.
reliable for
We are.
being resilient. Okay, I want to take us into talking about your rewire.
Okay.
So, Marnie, tell us about your rewire and how it has helped you rise.
It goes way back to my college days. So I grew up actually fairly poor, single parent family. Mom raised 5 kids, and I put myself through college, and it wasn't always easy, and it was a pain in the you know what. But I made this decision when I put myself through college, which was I will never stay in a job slash almost anything else in life, a job for for extended period of time beyond 3 months that I don't love. Now, that was not what I would call a very easy rewire. There were many times where I was in a job that I hated and I had a choice: quit because you promised yourself you would and have no money,
Yes.
or stay in this job. And there were a couple jobs, Jay, that I quit because I really, after a few months, I mean, I was a mental health counselor. And when I found myself sleeping in and not showing up for clients, I was like, okay, A, you hate this, and B, you're not serving them. So I put in my notice like 2 days later. I had no job, no anything, except I had that promise to myself. So, it was struggle over time, but over time, I bounced around in different jobs. I'm an entrepreneur now. I have my own business, and I mostly, Jay, do only what I love. I don't stay in any situation or any job that I don't love. Now, I think I'm really privileged to be there, but it wasn't easy to get here. It took work. It took, like, rewiring. It took rising at times where, there was no possibility. I didn't know how I could. So that's my rewire.
Ooh, ooh, that's such a good one. I've never heard that one. Um, can I ask some follow-up questions?
Of course. Of course.
Okay, great. I'm okay. I'm curious, like the the quitting that was the most like Nikes. Like, what was that like? How did you still empower yourself to do it? And then what happened and what was your experience after it? And then when you look back, you know, walk
There's
us through
two
that.
of them that come to mind, but I'll tell you that the more of anything, the more recent. So the most recent, I worked for a company we're both well aware of. I was the center manager for an educational company. And I got to the point in time where I hated it. I mean, I frickin' hated it. except there was very few people qualified to do it. Now, not because there's anything special about me, but you had to have had a certain amount of education, a certain amount of stuff to be able to do this job within this company. So I gave them 3 months notice because I realized I hate this. I'm done. I gave them 3 months notice. I don't know if you've ever given 3 months notice to a job that you hate, but
A
it
long
was
time.
it was miserable. Miserable. They took about 6 weeks to find my replacement, and my replacement turned out to be the guy that I replaced when I took the job. He ended up getting promoted, and then we'll call it demoted. So now I'm working for him again, and he became the center manager, and I became said one way. I mean, I love Michael, but his whipping boy. I mean, he pretty much would have me do this and this. And I hated. And I finally walked in one day and I said, Michael, you've replaced me. I got to go. I know I have 4 weeks left or 3 weeks left. I got to go. My last day is going to be this Friday. And he's like, but you gave. And I said, I know. I have to go. My own mental and physical health, I've got to go. I left, and again, at that point in time, I'm in my late 30s, and I have no clue of any job that I'm going to do, except I sat through. Okay, now this is embarrassing. This is another thing no one knows about me, or very few people. I went
Yay.
into sales. Directly after that, I went into sales, but not like really ethical, great sales. I went into, are you ready? Timeshare sales. I know. You can laugh all you want. It's horrible. But I'm sitting in this presentation, timeshare presentation, and this guy must have been fairly new, and he's like, how do you think I did? Tell me, I'm new at this. What do you think? And I said, do you really want my opinion? He's like, I really do. And so I started telling him things. And meanwhile, the sales manager, who's going to be the closer on my table, comes over and he's listened to everything. And he looks at me and he says, would you like a job? I'm like, doing this? He's like, yeah. I don't think so. And then I thought about it for a little while and I'm like, oh, what the hell? We'll see how it goes. And so I went into timeshare sales. So when I quit, I had nothing. But within a few days, I had this offer of a job and, training started and there I was. And I became probably the most ethical salesperson in the place, but I couldn't stay there long. My ethics just couldn't do it.
I'd just like the record to show that not all timeshares are slimy.
Yes.
And I have met several timeshare salespeople who say, like, this is not an investment. Don't treat this like part of your portfolio. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what this is. This is just an experiential preference, convenience play that, like, if it works for you, great. If not, and like, the first time I met someone like that, I was like, oh, there's two worlds here.
Yes.
Where there's a world of like the industry, which is seen as car salesy, slimy.
Yes.
And then there's like you get down to the individual, and individuals will surprise you.
Some of them will. They
And I've
absolutely
heard
will.
some of those people are very high performing in their
I
own,
was,
for
yes,
their own companies. Of course you were.
I was very high performing. I ended up doing group presentations. So my group presentations, I told the truth. When they got to the salesperson, God only knows what they said, because I eventually became a sales manager and learned some of the stuff they said. Um, but for a very long time, I was high performing, and Jade, I barely worked. I mean, when I was leading presentations, I'd get there to work at 7 o'clock for the group meeting. I'd leave at 7:30, and I'd come back at 2:30 to lead my 3 o'clock presentation, and I would be there until around 6. And I was making, really nice six figures, barely working.
For 4.5 hours a
It
day. You were doing the 4 hour
spoiled
workday
me. I
before
know I
it
was.
was a thing.
Totally spoiled me for anything that came thereafter. But, and, I did have to leave because it wasn't ethical. And it really did, truthfully, John Patterson said, Marnie, I don't know how you can keep doing it, your ethics. And it was just a wake up call having a conversation with him. So I was like, you're right. So I went into my boss's office and I said, I want you to know that you're going to fire me within the next 6 months or 6 weeks. He's like, I'm never going to fire you. I said, oh, no, no, you will fire me. Because if you don't perform, guess what? You get fired. I needed to collect a little bit of unemployment. So I had him fire me. another job that I quit because I didn't
Wow.
love it anymore. But I was
Wow.
a little bit more strategic in that one.
What would you say, like imagine you hadn't have decided this in college.
Hmm.
What would be different about your life now?
Um, wow. It's hard to say. It is really hard to say. But I probably would have stayed in the most recent job I had at the University of Virginia. Um, I'd still be working there. I would still be working a full time job, getting paid nothing that I believed I was worth, doing stuff that I really didn't like. When I started there, I created my own job. I loved what I did, but they changed everything and I got stuck in a position. So that would be one example. I'd still be there, but I don't know if I would have ever gotten to Virginia. I would still be in Minnesota, probably. I don't know. Oh, wow. I've never thought about that.
Isn't
Geez,
that
mind
wild?
blowing. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, my when I heard the theme of your rewire, my like, immediate response was like, "Wow, the world would be a better place if every single human took this rewire on and took it seriously." I mean, the amount of people that I meet who it's not just hate their jobs, because in my experience, like the job is kind of one part of a
Right.
puzzle that's
Yes.
maybe a problem. For the most part, I think people hate either the organization, the institution, or the people they work with.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because
That's
that's
often it.
right. Like, what's
Yes.
really impacting you? Is it the work you're doing, or is it the relationships and the dynamics and the right that environment? And it's so sad to hear the amount of just like misery, and it creates this resentment, and then the resentment creates all these weird like work is bad narratives, and like I shouldn't
Divorce.
have to work, and I'm like, oh, this just it gets so
Ah,
dark so fast
it
when
does.
you don't, you say love, I'm over here like I feel okay for you if you even like your job. Loving it is like bonus, but just like enjoy being satisfied with what
Satisfied
you're
would be a better
doing.
way of saying, yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, like that feels really meaningful to me. And as someone who's, pretty much always designed my own what I'm doing with my time after, I left my first company with Tina, my first mentor, when I was 26. So ever since I was 26, I've been
Doing your
figuring it
own
out
thing.
myself.
Yeah.
But I made a list like 40 jobs in between, because like there's times you're just like, I need a paycheck.
Yes, exactly.
And just like
And
go get a paycheck real quick and then back to it.
I think there is, I have to say, there is a level of privilege to be able to go there. Now, I didn't grow up privileged by any stretch of the imagination. We were dirt poor, 5 kids, single mom, right? Dirt poor. However, she raised me with middle class ethics and middle class beliefs. So I never felt the impact of how poor we were. So I think there's a level of privilege to be able to say, I'm going to leave a job if I don't really like it or I'm not satisfied or I don't love it. Um, but for God's sakes, it doesn't always take privilege. It takes being willing to deal with the fear and whatever you have to deal with walking away. And I've met people I've coached a couple people to walk away. And the level of satisfaction and confidence just flourishes. And when you have that kind of confidence, like I'll go do something different and you go figure it out. But when you don't love your job and you're miserable, your confidence is just killed. Killed. So,
Yeah. Yeah. My silence is like, I'm debating whether or not I accept it's a privilege. I'm like, I think
mm,
I know what you mean. I get the
yeah.
like intention of it. And I simultaneously think that it is a limiting belief culturally.
Accept. I accept culturally very much. I do accept that. I do. But I can think of some really poor people who, they can't even see their way to. I mean, I can see people who are in a rough space not being able to just leave their job.
Yeah. I mean, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you are in what's qualifies as survival mode,
Right.
which
And
makes
with
it
family.
very difficult to see outside of
Yes.
your, yes,
I
yes,
was
yes.
single. I'll say so. Maybe privilege isn't it. I had opportunity because I was single. I had to go figure it out on my own. I didn't have kids and a spouse to worry about. I just was me, and I could go do those kinds of things. So
Yeah,
maybe
me
it's
too.
not privilege. Maybe
Yeah, I
it's
was a fully autonomous adult
yes,
doing all the crazy leaving and
right,
finding, and yeah,
yeah,
that's a really good point. If you have people who are relying on you or you're accountable for their food, for example, yeah, it's a totally different environment. Right?
so
You've
maybe
got
it's not
different
privilege. It's
factors.
situational. I could do it because I was
Okay,
single, and
all right.
even when I was in a relationship, I did it anyway because I was the breadwinner. But I was like, I don't love this, and you figure your stuff out. I'll figure my stuff out, and we'll make it work.
Let's
That's
win
how it
some bread separately.
exactly.
That's so good. Oh, okay. Your rewire is, mwah. I love it. I can't wait to share about it. It's such a good one. I want to talk a little bit about what you're working on.
Yeah.
Specifically, like what's something either new or that you're putting out in the world that you're really excited about that the listeners and I can support you in. We can either buy it, share it, like it, spread the word.
Yeah. I love it. So I have been leading programs for a company for a while, and I will lead some trainings in my current company, but nothing that's an ongoing, uh, meaningful, like powerful thing. So I've developed a program that's called Habit Builder. And by the way, you were the one that helped me come up with that name a while back, but it's called Habit Builder. And it really it's a 10-week program. Well, it's a total of 12-week program, but 10 of those weeks you create a goal in some area of life that's important to you, whether it's your health, your relationships, whatever, some goal. And then the practice is the activity to satisfy that goal. And the reason, so, people read books about habits all the time. Trust me, Jade, I've read well over 50 different books about habits. And some of what I'm teaching is included in those different books. But there's one thing the books don't do. The books don't put you into a social environment of help to be able to develop these new habits. And the program that I'm launching, by the way, July 31st day, it's the beta program. It's a beta because I want feedback. So the first two are going to be beta and beta pricing, and then we'll go to market fully. Um, but it really is about being in a social environment of help to be able to start to create some important habits. You know you need to clean the damn garage. How long have you been telling your spouse, whoever, that you're going to get it clean? Well, why haven't you? You don't have anything that's really pushing you. An annoying spouse is not the same as a group of people are saying, come on, you can do this. And then you're showing every week whether you did it or not. Nobody wants to be known for not doing what they said they would do. So, this is the program.
Mm, so good. Is Are we talking virtual?
Yes, it's all virtual. So you can be anywhere in the world and engage in the program. The first two sessions are 1 hour long. After that, they're only a half an hour. I'm going to stay on longer because maybe people want it to be longer, but my thinking is about a half hour. Um, and there's a little, very short reading material that goes with it. Then each of this episode or each of the sessions, I'll do a little bit of what I'll call disseminating information. So I'll do a little bit of teaching, and then it'll be a lot of sharing. What are you dealing with? How are you doing? What support do you need? What's working? What's not working? What questions do you have?
You brought this up when we were talking about something you think most people believe, that they should just know how to do it themselves.
Yes.
And I cannot tell you how many people I've seen walk out of stores with the book Atomic Habits,
Uh huh. Great
which, by
book.
the way, great book,
Great
great
book.
book, great book.
How many people do you think have actually implemented it?
Very few.
I think very, very few. I mean, it even gets so simple as, attach the habit to a thing you're already doing. Okay, that's good. Except people forget that they were going to do that. There's so many things that get in the way. This
Mhm.
program, Habit Builder, not much is allowed to get in the way. And you'll learn why when you take the program. And you ought to take the program, most of you, even if you're really good with habits. I mean, Jade, you took a version of it and you are pretty internally motivated and will do things on your own. And you are one of the people who said that you got a ton out of the previous version.
Yeah.
Anybody. I mean,
Yeah, and
those of us who
I
are
stayed
go
in
ahead.
an extension that was like,
Yes,
yeah, testing out this continuation of this container because I mean, I will die on the hill that like we're tribal creatures.
we are.
And this like autonomy and I'm a lone wolf and like insert now the loneliness epidemic. Like
Wow.
we live in a world where we're just like sort of fighting we are resisting what's right in front of us, which is we need other human beings.
Hmm. We
And if we
do.
end up on an island with a volleyball, it is not going to go well.
Not at
It is
all.
not how we cannot function. And the denial of that is like still kind of blows my mind. The amount of people who are just like, no, I got that. I can, I can. I'm like, it's not to say that you can't, but just imagine the level of optimization and satisfaction and connection and
Oh
like
my God.
what has people age really well, this what we're
Community.
doing right now,
Yeah,
community,
it does.
connection, real conversations, getting help, giving help. It's like this is what we're wired for.
Hmm. And that's why this program works. And it works really well. And I've had people have take the program who are like, "Oh, I just don't think I'm going to need it. I don't think I'm going to like it." And they come away going, "Oh my God, the people were so helpful. I didn't even know how to approach this thing, and I just asked a couple people, and oh my God, I approached it. Now I can't imagine not doing it. We need help."
Okay, I
Right
have
there.
one example from one of my groups
Yeah.
where I think most people have dealt in their adult life, everyone's dealt with some health or fitness breakdown,
Yes.
right? Something is happening that you don't like
Yes.
and you've tried to like fix it
Muscle through it.
yourself and yeah, you just haven't like you have not figured it out. And you get into these small groups and I think it was 5 of us. And I had like broken through my health breakdown at the it like someone else had told me, hey, try this. And I'm a big like I'll try anything. If once I get to a certain point, I'm like, I would literally try anything. So I tried what this person told me and it totally worked. And then we're in this group and it was like listening to myself, Marnie.
Mm,
Like hearing
mm.
this person share about their fitness breakdown and just like I just always prioritize work and it's on the top of my list but I never get to it and things will pop up and I try and block off time but then I get a call and I mean I was like I feel so seen. I feel so seen. And I remember like the initial like oh like maybe what worked for me won't work for them and I was like oh screw that, the person who told me, so
Yes.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb because the idea of like what I shared sounds a little crazy. Now I don't think it sounds crazy, but at the time I'm like hire someone to come to your house, pay them to come work
To your
out
house.
to you with you for you. Yeah, pay a trainer to come to you basically because that's what I had been told was like one of the best ways to close this gap is to remove all friction.
Yeah. They come
You
to
do
your
not
house, you
have
can't
to,
not do it.
you can't. You do not have to go out your door. You do not have to have the right clothes on in the like, you can deal with all that real time. And I just recently saw this person at a conference and she was like, changed my life.
Mm.
Changed my life. You were right. And I was like, I wasn't right. Someone else was right. But who cares who was right? It
Yes,
works.
it works.
And like
Yeah.
I would have never gotten that without that environment. And she would have never gotten that without that environment. So I'm over here like, this is a no brainer. Like everybody must be in some type of community like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know of many.
I
I don't
don't
know
know
of
of
many.
many either. Especially, people will say, I'll go do CrossFit and all of those things. But CrossFit takes care of one area of your life. In this program, we're going to look at multiple areas of your life to begin to get in some really good habits and learn what it takes to have a habit, learn what it takes to measure a goal. Because frankly, people don't even understand that when they say I've got a goal, they don't really think about what they're going to do. And if they're not hitting their goal, they're just like, it doesn't work. Well, that's because you got to do some clear, accurate thinking, and you have to do it long enough to see the results. And you have to, by the way, measure both the activity and the results. I don't know of many other programs that really teach that to you the way that I do in this program.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. And I've done so many.
Yes. Me too.
So I am a huge advocate. Go join Marnie's
Yay!
program. Yeah, I think it does change people's lives because
I
habits
think so.
are what make up our day to day behaviors and how we spend our time and what outcomes we are able to generate. So I'm like, everybody have the biggest programs in the world, Marnie.
I would love that. That would make me very happy. I
Yeah, me
love doing
too.
it. I love leading it. It's the
And you're
best.
and you're so good at it. The depth of knowledge and your experience and the people you've had thousands, tens of thousands of these interactions, and that's your magic. Like no one can, you can't recreate that. You can't read enough books to have the experience that you have with real people in real life situations.
Yeah, that's true. I
Yeah,
accept.
and you can just see what like I can't. You
Yes.
can
Yes.
identify blind spots, if you will, that like for me are not. I'm like, what are you talking about? You
And
know?
I do see it very quickly. And
Yeah,
I can teach some people to do what I do, but they'd have to actually spend quite a bit of time with me to learn it the way I know it. I've done it long enough and I can just see things.
yeah, yeah. It feels like a superpower, but it's like you've stacked all this knowledge over
I have.
decades. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes,
you
I
deserve
have.
it, the
Thank
superpower.
you. Thank you.
And we will put the link, we'll put the information, everything will be in the bio, plus everything we send out about your podcast. So please, please, please check out what Marnie's up to. Spread the word because the world will in fact be a better place if more people get what they want. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna bring us to a wrap up question, Marnie, and I'm
All right.
very excited for your answer. And I want to go into not necessarily the world of habits, but let's just say like training and development, right? Your background, your umbrella, your specialty. If you were going to share one practice from your training and development experience, one thing, tangible thing that listeners could try doing, whether it's thinking, doing whatever, being, I don't care. What is that one thing and why?
I don't want to give you one. I want to give you two. Can I give you two?
You're a tour. I love
I'm a
it. Give
two.
us two.
Okay, the first one, and everybody's heard it over and over and over and over and again, but I stand by it. Listen. Just stop and listen. Be with people and listen. Don't try and figure out what you're going to say in your head. Listen. That's the first one. Second one, I'm stealing this from the educational company that I work for, Influential You. Be invitational. Almost anything you do with another, have it be an invitation. Like, listen, do you have time to chat right now? I want to chat with you. Does it work for you? That's an invitation.
Oh my God, please, Marnie, let everybody in the world pick up that one, even just that one, I would like to talk to you does now work.
Yeah. Yes.
That feels, suddenly I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I know you want something from me, but you also are showing me that you care,
Yes.
that I am available and that I do in fact have the time. And boy, am I more apt to say yes, by the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But far too often we walk in a room and say, hey, and start talking. Far too often. Or we're upset about something and we go at somebody without finding out, does it work to even begin a dialogue now? Because if I come at you and you're not ready, you're going to push back. But if I come at you with, listen, I really need to talk to you about something I'm upset with, is now good for you or when would be? I
You just gave
have,
me choice. You
I
gave me
gave you
choice.
choice and I gave you the opportunity to do your own thinking and get in the right place. So, those two things listen, invitational approach.
Wow, Marnie, that was a mic drop moment. I feel like I should have just ended the podcast right there. But I want to thank you for two things
Yes,
because it's you. So one, see what I did
that
there?
was good. Good callback.
One, taking the time, right? It's our
Mm,
only finite resource, and I know you live a life you love. So taking on and doing anything new means something. It means something. So thank
thank
you.
you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's a
And the
privilege.
second thing is I really want to go all in on these Marnie stickers. your face and some of your best one liners for your new brand and the habit builder. So if we could just take that offline and make it happen,
All right, we
that
should
would
do
be
that. That'd be very
okay.
fun.
Good.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. This was so much fun. It's
Such a
just fun to
pleasure.
be with you.